What's up? We're going to be going over this. This is the Mario Kart Hori racing wheel for Nintendo Switch. We're going to be looking at what games it's good for, how well it works, and how well it works for PC gaming. So let's take a look. So I'm going to go over everything that came in the box. Obviously the racing wheel. It also came with the pedals, the desk clamp, the manual, and a bag of suction cups. As for the steering wheel, it has these rubber grips that feel pretty nice, but the plastic itself feels pretty cheap comparatively. The steering wheel itself has all the necessary face buttons. It even has the left and right click for the sticks. The D-pad itself can actually be changed to, it goes from the D-pad, the left stick, or the right stick, which can be helpful in certain games if you need to navigate menus or change settings. This wheel also has a few ways you can program buttons. The programmable buttons are the ZL and ZR, the left and right stick clicks, the item button, these paddles, and then both of the pedals are also programmable. So to program the buttons, you hold the assign button until the LED starts flashing, and then you push what button you want to be assigned while it's flashing. So you'll just hit whatever button and then it'll flash quicker, and then you push what button you want it to be. So now this back pedal, or this back paddle, is assigned to Y. So the pedals plug into the steering wheel with this phone cable on the back here, and that's how you get function with the pedals. The gas pushes down further than the brake, which isn't a big deal. Flips out so that it has more surface area on the ground. So that's the pedals. For the desk clamp, it comes with this bolt that goes through the bottom here, and it screws into the bottom of the steering wheel here, and it just goes on like this. And then the suction cups also go on these spots on the bottom there. I actually haven't used them yet because I think the desk clamp just is a better idea overall. It really does feel good using the steering wheel over a controller. It makes it feel more like you're playing in an arcade or even possibly a real car. As for the games it works with, obviously Mario Kart. Most racers it's probably going to work with. Mario Kart it does work really well with. It is kind of harder using the wheel over a controller. I'm still better with a controller over the wheel, but it does make it feel like the arcade version of Mario Kart that they have. The only other Switch game I've used it with is Gear Club 2, and I really liked it with that one. So Gear Club 2 is more of it's kind of an arcadey racer, but it's also semi-realistic. And I think that wheel works really well with it. It makes the game way more fun than with a controller. I've played it probably 3 times as much with the wheel as I have with the controller. As for other games that it would be good with, pretty much any racer. Good ones would be, there's Grid. I don't own that one yet, but I'm probably going to pick it up soon and use it with that because that one looks like it would be really cool with a racing wheel. Fast RMX is another F-Zero style racer, and I think it would work well with that. It would probably be really hard, but because the game's already hard overall anyways, but it could still be a fun time. I know there's a racer called Xeon. That one would probably work well. So the real reason I actually got this was to use it with VR PC games, and it does work with the PC. I really like using it with Project Cars 2, which is a really cool, realistic VR racer. It's also just regular PC game. You don't have to use it with VR. The other game I've used it with is Redout, and that's another F-Zero style game, and it was pretty fun. It was kind of hard to use because it's hard to get used to turning a wheel way more than tilting a stick to turn, but it definitely works. As for the problems on PC, with Project Cars 2, I actually couldn't get it to detect it as a racing wheel. After messing with it for way too long, I just decided to set it up as a controller, and it did work that way, actually really well. In VR on Project Cars 2, it actually worked really well. It did one-to-one turning with what I was seeing in VR and with my hands. So even with it detecting it as a controller, not a racing wheel, it still did work well. It does detect the pedals as actual racing pedals, which is kind of weird, and it'll use those as analog, and that works really well. As for Redout, that one didn't have any options for a wheel, so I just used it as a controller, and it still worked totally fine. The wheel itself definitely met my expectations of what I thought it was going to be. I mainly got it for a cheaper VR wheel, and as a bonus it worked for a Switch. That's why I picked that one up, because I did have racing games like Mario Kart and Gear Club 2. For the $100 price tag, I do wish it was a bit better plastic. The rubber felt really good, but the plastic itself feels pretty cheap, and it is kind of light. I would like a little bit more sturdy of a build quality. And for the price, I didn't expect it to have any feedback rumble like the more expensive ones. So that was fine with me, the way it worked, with just turning back to center. But overall, I do really like this and do recommend it if you want a cheaper racing wheel to use with PC or Switch. If you're not super into racers, but you do want the experience of a racing wheel, this is a pretty solid option. It has everything you need. Doesn't have like a shifter or anything, but that's not necessary. It does have the shifting paddles, so that works out. For $100, I would say it's worth it. If you can get it on sale, I definitely would say it would be worth it. If you like the video, appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments down below, and subscribe for more content like this. And I do have a Twitch stream if you want to check that out. Link will be in the description. Thanks for watching.